Rabindranath says that life based on mere science feigns seriousness but is not profound. So it it shows seriousness or it displays seriousness, but in reality it hasn't got any depth. To feel that you are the greater animal, that your method of destruction is thorough and scientific. So Rabindranath believe doesn't believe in the destructive spirit, which is a gift of mere science, which is not combined, the science which is not combined with humanity, the science which does not think of the whole of humanity, that is mere science. That science believes in extravagance, that science believes in display, but haven't got any depth. It doesn't understand the true meaning of life or humanity. Life of science and the life of science is that superficial life. So the life based on mere science or only science is a superficial life because its aim is success. It pursues success with skill and thoroughness and takes no account of the higher nature of man. So it doesn't combine the higher nature of man, or it does. Mere science does not think about humanity. And therefore, Rabindranath rejects a life based on only science. According to him, it must be combined with humanity. After all, science is for our benefit, not, not to fulfill our selfish greed. Man is merely a hunter, and his paradise the paradise of sportsmen. And that life, which is based on only science, makes or reduces man to a hunter, and therefore he is reduced only to a sportsman. He doesn't remain, or rather, he is reduced to a hunter. He doesn't remain a human being. But in the man who, and therefore, one who believes in that life based on science multiplies his weapons at the cost of his own soul. That person doesn't even think of his own soul. He reduces himself to a mere machine. Things that are living are so easily hurt, therefore they require protection. And the immense humanity obviously needs special protection. The living man has his true protection in the spiritual ideals, which have their vital connection with his life and grow with his growth. So Govindath is speaking about the spiritual ideals, the soul, which brings about the vitality of a human being. Otherwise, otherwise it will result in the smoothering of humanity or the suppressing of humanity. If he is weak enough to go smaller to fit himself, let us move to the next section. I can see her motto taken from science. So, the motto of the West, which believe in the motive force of nationalism, that motto of the West is taken from mere science, and the motto is survival of the fittest. When this motto is taken to the social level, that is social Darwinism is followed, then it results in helping oneself and never heed what it costs to others. So, if social Darwinism is followed, it makes people or countries or the nations very selfish, and therefore it results in thinking of only oneself and never taking care of what it costs to other people. So Govinda does not believe in this kind of moral blindness. He calls it moral blindness. And this is given the name of patriotism. So Govinda doesn't believe in this kind of patriotism. To him, patriotism or love for the country is love for the countrymen, love the for also the people beyond the borders of the nation. Means also loving the neighbors, having friendly relationship with neighbors. Then Romina says, where the spirit of Western nationalism prevails, the whole people is being taught from boyhood to foster hatred and ambitions by all kinds of means. So, the spirit of Western nationalism fosters or encourages or promotes hatred by the manufacture of half truths or untruths in history, by persistent misrepresentation of other races, and the culture of unfavorable sentiments towards them by setting up memorials of events, very often false, which for the sake of humanity should be speedily forgotten. So this is what the spirit of Western nationalism is doing. It is it is it is encouraging hatred for the neighboring nations or neighboring countries, and therefore Govinda says that for the sake of humanity as a whole, this must be forgotten because it's continuously bringing up menace, evil menace. So it is giving birth to evil, danger towards neighbor and nations other than their own. So nationalism is reduced to the love for one's own nation and hatred for the neighboring nations. And in fact, nationalism often defines itself as a glorification of everything that belongs to one's nation and a naked hatred for everything that belongs to a different nation. So, this is what is nationalism. There's, there's always a dichotomy inherent in the very concept of nationalism, which is also pointed out by, by thinkers like Tom Nair and Ernest Geller. And, and it may well be summed up in the words of Meenakshi Mukherjee, the Delhi professor. I quote, any project of constructing a national identity is predicated upon two simultaneous imperatives: an erasure of differences within the border and accentuating the difference with what lies outside. So, the opposition or the contrast is always set, and one's nation is always different in terms of the other, in terms of neighboring nations. And Tagore, being a transnationalist, means one who wanted to cross all the boundaries and borders, and who had immense love for humanity, saw the dangers and drawbacks inherent in this limitation of the nations. And then Rabindranath points out the three defects of this kind of nationalism. Number one, this is poisoning the very fountainhead of humanity. So it is a danger to humanity. Number two, it is discrediting the ideals which were born of the lives of men who were our greatest and base. So this kind of nationalism also discredits our ideals. And number three, it is holding up gigantic selfishness as one of as the one universal religion for all nations of the world. So it is it results in selfishness, and that also in in a gigantic stature.